I have prepared 10 useful tips and tricks for Draw.io. While working in Draw.io, by default you will see this grid behind your diagram. We can modify it or even switch it off completely here on the right side. Be sure nothing is selected, not elements like that. Just click in the empty area on the backdrop itself. Then you will see the diagram settings where the very first thing on the list is grid. If you click this checkbox, you can switch off the grid completely, and it will be very handy when you want to snap some quick screenshots, like local screenshots like that. And you can place it directly in some presentations or send to some messaging apps or emails. If you want to keep the grid, but you want to modify how large the grid is, you can move this point slider here up and down. You can also modify the color of the grid. As you can see, I'm not using the standard gray one. I use the light blue grid as well. So I changed that already. We can make it red. Take a look. And if you plan to print it out and you're afraid that this grid will mess up your printout, don't worry. You can modify the settings while you're exporting PDF. So you can keep the grid in, and while you click File and you export as PDF that you will later on print out or share to others digitally, you can decide that you want to have grid or no. And actually by default it's maybe switch off. Alright, so you can turn it on or off while exporting. And now we're exporting to PDF, and let's inspect that PDF. Take a look. Even though in the diagrams.net I got this red, very strong grid here, in the PDF for print or for sharing, it's plain white. We can, of course, modify this color behind the grid, the backdrop color itself. Simply turn on the backdrop color. It's in the same area that grid, and you can have that modify as well. And again, you can ignore that color while you're deciding to export to PDF. So make this comfortable process for yourself here in the program, and don't worry, we can switch off all of those backdrop effects like colors or grids on the export page. How can we install diagrams.net Draw.io on our Mac, Windows, or even Chromebook? We can get this very nice Chrome app. Simply start using the program and then head to the top right here in your Chrome browser. You will see option to install. Install app. And from now on you will have this as a separate app in the floating window. Keep in mind, behind this is a regular Chrome browser. It's called Chrome app. Same as you can do it with Adobe Express or Photopea or even YouTube Music. So you still need to have Chrome browser on your computer to get this, but you will get this advantage of having the better interface, as you don't need to see the address bar. All of that is very clean here at the top, and also it shows us the separate app in your taskbar, so you will not close this by mistake. How can we print out our Draw.io diagram? Before we head to print options, it's good to double check what is our paper size right now in the program. Just click in this empty area, not on any object, but in empty area. This way you can see the diagram properties on the right side here. And there will be a paper size. In my case, that's A4 landscape. You can still make changes here if you just discover that you used the wrong paper. Keep in mind, if part of your diagram is kind of popping out of the page, they will add extra page for you, so you don't need to worry about that. And now I got two pages. One page will be this thing, and after the dash line there's another page with this thing. So in my case that's ridiculous, so I'll move this back to fit everything in one page. Alright, so after you double check what is your size, by default you can head to File, and there's option to print. With this you can decide to print everything or only the selection. For example, you got many diagrams and then you select only one diagram, go to File, Print, and you can do selection only that selected part will be printed. In my case, I don't want to do that. I want to print everything, so I will now decide I want to grid or no. I want to crop it. I want to fit it all in one page. We got some options here, and important, you got preview options, so click on that to see the preview of your page, and you can then click print. Actually, I'm not a big fan of printing directly from Draw.io. What I like to do myself is to go to File export as PDF. So I got very same options as for the printing here, with some extras, like I can make transparent backdrop. Okay, so I now will download this whole thing without the grid. Grid is off, as PDF to my device. We can download to Google Drive, OneDrive as well. And then I can open the PDF from my local drive and just print that like any other PDF. In this case, I will get my default printer setup, and I got a PDF that is still a nice digital version of the whole diagram. So we got this digital version as well that we can keep, send, or save. So that's what I recommend. Don't use the default print if you don't need to. If you can, try to do export as PDF and then print out that PDF like you print any other PDF. Hey, let me show you how you can create a pie chart using draw.io diagrams.net. You cannot see the pie chart from the template list over here, but we can use the generate feature and just type pie chart. And here it is. They generate a very generic pie chart for us, but we can start with that. Click create, and now we can double tap on it to modify the data set that is in that. We can modify the chart title at the top, decide how many slices do we need. I just need 2 slices, so I delete all of them here. Slice number 1 was for cat, that got around 43%, and then slice number 2 is for dog with 57%. Click apply, and your changes are applied to the pie chart that is now part of your diagram in diagrams.net. So as you can see, it's totally possible to do a simple pie chart in the software as well. How can we draw a fishbone diagram using draw.io, also called diagrams.net? When you try to create a brand new document, they will show you some templates, and you can actually find a pretty good template for the fishbone diagram. Head to business, and then you will see it straight away over here. There are 2 versions of it. So we can start from the template like that. Or if you like, we can start with the blank paper. So let me show you how we can do it manually with just the blank paper. Alright, here I am in this document. I will not need a grid for this type of diagram, so I can switch the grid off straight away. I like to keep a page in the landscape, so by default it's maybe portrait like this. So I suggest to switch it to landscape page straight away in case you need to put it into PowerPoint or print it out. It's a bit better in landscape. The best way to start the fishbone diagram is to create a space for a problem definition. So I simply open up general shapes on the left. I need some kind of oval shape like this ellipse, and drag in the ellipse, double tap to type inside the shape. We can scale it up a bit. You are free to change the line color, the fill color. All of that can be customized in the style section on the right. I will make this text way larger and bold. Alright. So we got our problem, definition of the problem on the right side. And on the left, we will make a structure for putting different solutions, equipment, process, people, all of we need. Alright, so we need this bold arrow line pointing on the problem. We can also drag this out from here. So a simple direction arrow, the big one, I will take the big one for this, and then drag the beginning of the arrow, stick it to the problem. Alright, and then move this to the end of the page. So that's our space for creating a fishbone diagram. I can turn on the fill color. I want this to be filled with the black. I want this arrow to be bold like this. Modify it a bit. Alright. Okay, we will need a similar arrow for each kind of bone of the fish, but first let's make those tops for those fish bones. So I use this shape with the rounded corners to specify equipment, process, and people on one side. And again, we can modify the style of the text, font, color, the style of the box as well. Alright, and now I will just duplicate this existing element, Command-C, Command-V to copy and paste. Alright, and now we need to connect those to the main line pointing on the problem. So I'm going to hover my mouse in the middle of this one, pull the arrow and connect this arrow somewhere here. Change the type of the connection to straight line. We can make this arrow vertical, maybe 10 points, something like that. And for now, I will set this as the default style for arrows. And I will do the very same thing from this one and this one. All right. And now you'll be able to create some text here under this. That will be kind of joining this equipment arrow, process arrow, and people arrow. To add a simple text, you can drag out the text, or you can double tap in the empty area and select text. Alright, and then you can type in what you need, and you can of course modify the size of the text, font color as before. So now under each option we can put as much text as we want related to that Fishbone. Alright, now we kind of finished the top part of the diagram, and we're going to do the very same things at the bottom of the diagram. So as you can guess, I'm going to first copy those three headers, Command-C, Command-V, move them here at the bottom of the diagram. We will need to draw a few more arrows. And the bottom ones, we can use them for materials or stuff like that. Alright, so that's how you design a fishbone diagram. On one side you got your problem, and then you got this main arrow pointing to the problem, and you got those smaller arrows pointing to the main arrow, and they are kind of categorized to specific sections like equipment, process, people, measurements, machines, methods. That's up to your case. Alright, so that's in general, that's why it's the name. A fishbone diagram is look a bit like a fish. The head of the fish is the problem, and this one like fish bones coming to that problem. Alright, so that's how you do it. And by the way, if you run out of space on your page, let's say you go out of the page, take a look what happened. They will add you extra paper for you. Just be sure to not put like stuff in the middle of the dash line. That will be on the both pages. So be sure like major stuff is on one side or another, not in the middle of the dash line. Alright, so that's how easy it is. And after you're ready to share your diagram, you can just click File and export to easy to share formats like PNG or even PDF. How can we add a new column to existing table in diagrams.net? First, let's make a table using the basic table tool here at the top. Alright, how can I add a new column on the right? Be sure that the table is selected. It's important. Select the table and then click on the table tool once more. Instead of the table tool, you will see options to add column on the left, add column on the right, remove column, add rows, remove rows. So now we can just select this one, add column on the right, and here it is. You can repeat this as many times as you need. Be sure you got the whole table selected while clicking this. Take a look. Right now I was inside the single cell and they show me just the basic table tool, not the option to insert new columns to existing table. So don't go deep inside one cell, just click on the whole table and you will see options to insert or remove columns and rows. How can we switch in between light mode and dark mode in diagrams.net? Head to the top right corner. You will see this little sun icon. If I click on that, I can move to a dark mode. In that case, I got a moon-like icon. If I click that again, I can switch back to the light mode. I got the sun icon. There's also additional option here to simplify the interface. That's the one that you will see when you try to access diagrams.net website from like mobile devices like phone or iPads. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that, but some of you using touch input may appreciate those simplified menus at the top. Alright, let's go back to the regular one. So I switch off the simple version and I got the regular draw.io diagrams.net, and I like to keep it in automatic to match the light mode of my system. Alright, that's how easy it is to switch between dark mode and light mode. How to create a value stream mapping diagram using draw.io. So I already start a blank new project, so I did not select any template. It's a just blank page, and I'm going to start by changing the orientation of this page, as the VSMs are usually on the horizontal pages, right, when you print them out. So to do that, I will now change paper size to my local paper size, that's A4, and also I will select landscape. Alright, so now we got the landscape. As you can see, it's not vertical page anymore. It's more suitable for this kind of diagram. Alright, now we're going to add proper shapes. So I will click here, plus more shapes, this blue button, and we need to search for the group of shapes we need for this project. So value stream mapping. Let's scroll down to business section, and you will see it here. All of the shapes we need for this. Just click this checkbox on, apply, and from now on you will see all of those shapes in this group on the left. It's pretty easy. You just need to drag the shapes you need out and place on the page. Alright, so as you can see, you can very quickly populate the page with shapes you need for your diagram. If you need just a basic table, you can also use the table tool here at the top. If you need something like this, it's here as well, or you can drag the pre-made tables from this group here. As you can see, they have prepared some arrows for us, so we can click on the arrow, drag it out, and then you can decide where will be the arrowhead. You can stick it to the object. You see the moment when it sticks? Why it's important? Because if you stick those arrows correctly, even though you move the object in your diagram, the arrows will adjust automatically. Take a look. That's very nice. Alright, so just select the arrow you need and stick it to your objects, and you don't need to worry about them even you move some objects around. Take a look. If you want to edit the text, you can just double tap on the text and you can type whatever you like. Feel free to modify the size of the font, color, or the font itself. It's on the right side. Okay. Keep in mind, you can add additional text whatever you like just by double tapping and selecting text tool. And now you can add text even it's not in any designated shape. Alright, so that's how easy it is to design a simple VSM diagram using diagrams.net. Everything is here. You just need to remember to click plus more shapes and turn on correct shapes in the business group. Alright, here it is, business value stream mapping. Click it on and you'll have access to all of those shapes to make your diagram. How can we create a local area network diagram using a free software called draw.io, also called diagrams.net? When you try to create a new diagram, they will ask you for the template, and actually you can find a pretty good template here for a network diagram. So if you search for network, there will be several ready-to-use templates. But let's start from scratch. Let's just click basic and blank diagram, create. Alright, that will just give you this blank paper, and on the left side you will see just basic shapes. So our first task is to add more shapes, add the shapes we need for this type of diagram. So I click plus more shapes on the left and search for networking shapes. Here it is, and you got shapes from several providers. So if you got hardware from like certain companies like Cisco, you can add shapes from them. Alright, so let's add Cisco shapes, click apply. And now on the left I got several groups for different Cisco diagrams, so I can use that. Let's search for the one with computers. Here it is, and now I can just simply drag and drop those computers here. Alright, let's try to find some kind of networking device as well. So router with Wi-Fi, this one. Here it is, and now I can simply connect them with lines. I can modify colors, I can add extra text. You can double tap, click text, and you can type extra stuff on it. If you want to draw the line, hover your mouse until you see this green color and just pull the line from it. Stick it to another object and you got a sticky line like in the proper diagramming software. So even you move the object, the line will try to adjust to maintain the connectivity with those two objects. All right, let's click on the line directly. I can make it thicker. I don't need arrowhead. If you like, you can make them dash to show that this is some kind of wireless connectivity. And if you plan to use the very same line all the time, you can also click here, set as default. So from now on, when I try to connect objects, I will have exactly same style. So this will speed up your work as well. All right, and we very quickly create a very basic LAN diagram with 4 computers connected through this Wi-Fi router. You can, of course, change style of it. There's a default color, this navy blue, but you can put any color you like. Just from the style panel on the right side of your screen. If you don't need the grid paper below, you can also click on that and switch off the grid. So you could just plain white paper, a bit better for like capturing quick screenshots, putting in like presentation and stuff like that. All right, so that's how easy it is to make your own network diagram. Simply load correct shapes first here, plus more shapes, search for networking, and you will see that many providers here. We can get those very nice isometric designs as well, and then you simply connect them with arrows as you plan. And that's all. You can now export your diagram file, export as PDF if you plan to print it, or you can snap a quick screenshot if you just want to place it or send it to somebody, right? Microsoft Visio is not a cheap software, and in addition, you need a Windows to run it. So what is our alternative if you are on macOS or Chrome OS? I suggest using a very simple open source software called Draw.io. What is great about this program is that you can add multiple different groups of shapes and you can turn it into the diagramming software you really need. So simply click Start. Then you can decide about storage for your diagram. You can link it directly to your OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox, or you can store it on the local computer. In that case, select Device, create a new diagram, and you can start with a template. But if this is your first time using the program, I will actually suggest going for a blank diagram and figure out how we can kind of build it from scratch. Keep in mind, there's also a brand new feature, Generate, when you can describe the diagram and the program will try to kind of kick off your project using AI, machine learning. But for now, let's create a blank one. Create. You must save it on your drive because we select our machine as the destination. And here we are. The good news is the program is really simple to start with. You simply drag and drop shapes you need for your diagram. And then when you need to connect them with lines, hover your mouse until you see this green indicator and just pull the line out to build your diagrams. Of course, you can edit the style of everything using the style panel on the right, so I can decide how thick is the line. Do I need arrowheads? Take a look, there are so many different arrowheads. There are also logical arrowheads here for databases, cardinalities and all that stuff is here as well. So just select the one you need, select the type of the line you need. You can change the color of it as well. And here it is. This is the real diagramming software. So even you move the element, the line will follow. Alright, but I'm guessing most of us will not use those silly strange shapes. We need a certain professional shapes for our diagram. So in that case, you search for the group you need. If you cannot see the group here, you need to click plus more shapes and you can add more groups here. So let's say you are going for like very specific things like this Amazon Cloud Technologies. You can just add those shapes here. 2024, the newest one. I click on the checkbox, apply, and it will appear in my shape panel on the left. And now I can drag those icons and shapes and use the official one to make my diagram. I can also modify the backdrop. I can modify the grid, size of it, the color of it. You can switch it off completely. You can have pageless or page view. This is very helpful if you plan to print out your document later. By the way, if you run out of page, the program automatically will add a page, but keep in mind, you need to print this out nicely later, so avoid placing your icons, important parts of your diagrams on this dash line indicating a next page. Alright, we can modify text. We've got some arrangement tools to move stuff in the layers up and down, add some rotations, all of that. There's a basic table tool built in as well over here. Alright, so as you can see, this software is really capable, and the best part is it's open source, so you don't need to pay anything to try it. You can try it straight away, play with it for a few days, and maybe that's enough for you. You don't need to invest in any expensive diagramming software. Alright, so try this out. Draw.io, a great alternative to Microsoft Visio and other similar premium software. I hope this was helpful. See you in the next one.